Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Dunn Wisdom Morning Show. It is so amazing to be back. I am your host, Melissa P. Dunn, CEO of MD Marketing Network and founder of this Dunn Wisdom movement, where I absolutely take pleasure in introducing you to women who are getting things done in life and in business with complete ease and grace. So, today, I'm going to introduce you to one of the members of my tribe, one of the women who keep my cup full. Her name is Miss Colette Cook. She is a health practitioner, and you are absolutely going to enjoy her. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming Miss Colette Cook of PurFit Om Hypnosis and Wellness to the show. Hey, Colette.
Hello. Thank you for that beautiful introduction. Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. It is so good to see you. So amazing. Before we talk about our personal connection, Colette, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I'll try to summarize my 50 years of life into what's really, really relevant here. But yeah, it's been a very long journey in wellness. I'm very lucky to have been born in a family where my mom was very, very spiritual. She did yoga back in the 80s, when yoga was not that cool. And I was a kid and I did that with her. And I just, kind of loved to have a holistic type of life. And as life would have it, I, in my early 20s, became a mom, and then I became a mom again, and then I became a real single mom. And I had to kind of make things happen, and so I dove into corporate America and really learned, to navigate how to be a woman in this world, self-sustainable, and still be able to manage everything as a mother, as a housekeeper, personally staying healthy in all my different levels. About 10 years ago, though, I kind of hit a wall. When I hit that wall, I check marked everything that I should have in my life to be happy. I had worked really hard to get there, but yet something was missing. I ended up doing hypnosis by recommendation of a friend, and I was kind of like, I'm not sure about this, but you know what? I'll go do it. Why not? It's natural, it's kind of in line with what I like to do for myself anyways. And it was life-changing. I got so much clarity on what was missing in my life. I really was able to connect, my mind, my heart, my soul, my spirit, my purpose through really finding a way to quiet the thinking mind and learn how to connect with that subconscious level through hypnosis. And so I became obsessed with the power of our mind and how much influence our subconscious mind has over pretty much 95% of our actions and results. And so since then, 8 years ago, I became a certified hypnotherapist. I included my yoga practice, which I had already, been teaching yoga kind of on the side. I'm a Reiki master, so I'm a big believer in working with multidimensional levels of a human. So the mind body through hypnosis, the physical through yoga, the energetic body through Reiki, the emotional body through breathwork. And so that is what I do today. I quit everything that wasn't in line with my happiness and what I felt was my authentic way of showing up in this life. And dedicated my life to still doing something that I was passionate about, which is supporting people. I had learned that in corporate America. I was in a leadership role, and that's what made me wake up every day, was just seeing people exponentially grow and supporting them. I just get to do it in a different and I'm much more aligned with what really resonates in my heart. So that's kind of my story. I love what I do. I don't feel like I work any day of my life, yet I work endlessly just because it's fun.
Because you love it.
Yeah. So what do you do for work, or how's work? And I'm like, work? Oh, I don't
It's so funny, Colette. It's so funny because your journey of kind of first having to figure out how to put on your mask and survive and take care of your family, like that whole evolution for that period of your life, and then working corporate America and taking a leap into entrepreneurship and really kind of allowing yourself to find your purpose. That's what we talk about every day here in the Dunn Wisdom. That's the movement, right?
Yeah.
And so I want to kind of explore what that was like for you. But before I do, I want to share how you have helped me. So I have had, as you know, Collette, and as by now my followers know, I have had this dream of finishing the Miami Marathon for like 10 years. 10 years, you guys. I have been dreaming about this. And at the time, I had just, gone through my divorce. And my divorce was in the process of being final. I had lost my home. I was experiencing homelessness, ended up having to move back in at some point with my father, had spent time in the hospital. It was just a lot happening. And so that was the goal. And I made a vision board in 2012 with Black Girls Run. And that was what I put on the vision board. And for some reason, I would start, I would stop, but I just couldn't get past a certain mark. And I was inspired to seek out hypnotherapy. And Collette, I found you online at your website. Let me put that up now. So if anybody wants to check you out, they may. But I tell you what, man, you really, really helped me. And look, you guys. Ta-da! Here's the medal. This is the medal right here. And you want to know what really helped me, Collette, and how I know that our sessions really helped push me to the end? Mm-hmm. By the time I got to mile 14, my legs were numb. Like I could not, I was in so much pain. I couldn't continue running. So I ended up walking most of the second half, right? And what kept me going was the session that we had where you had me imagine crossing the finish line and having the feeling of them putting the medal over my neck. And when I wanted to quit, I kept imagining that feeling. And when the truck was coming up behind me, because in these races, if you allow the bus to catch you, that's it, you're over. Ooh. So the bus, like I'm running right here, Collette, and the bus is like right here.
You're like, I don't think so.
I don't think so. Because I kept imagining the feeling of them going like this. Because we did like a couple of hypnotherapy sessions where that happened. Mm-hmm. And that is what kept me going. That subconscious feeling that we worked on during hypnosis is what gave me that was my edge for me to continue and not quit.
Beautiful.
Thank you. Yes.
Can I chime in on just?
Yes, please.
A lot of people, just like myself, I'm a very analytical person. So I love all these things, but I'm always like, but why? I want to know why. And so you touched on something. You said the feeling. I had the feeling of, and there's a buzzword, call it nowadays, of manifestation. Like everybody's talking about manifestation. And that is about you already embodied a feeling that was never going to be taken away from you. Yeah. So through hypnosis, it's creating the feeling of you're not wishing anymore for something. You're already living that truth. You've embodied that thought, that emotion, and you breathed it into your soul, that there was nothing that was going to happen that wasn't going to take that away from you. And that power that we can get from our subconscious mind. Like that's one of many things. So yeah, I just wanted to say, like, it's about working on all levels. So you thought this is what I want to do one day. You thought it 10 years ago. You consistently fed into that thought that became a wish. All of a sudden, emotionally attached to it. And it was just a matter of creating now at the subconscious that this is already a reality. This is it.
Yeah.
This is what you're going to do. It's not about to do it anymore. So it's those several layers that we work on, and it can work for anything that we want in life, as long as we're looking at it holistically and creating that attachment, that emotional attachment.
Yeah. And, I think a lot of people are afraid of hypnosis because they think that it's mind control. And, you see these things where on TV where the hypnotherapists have people barking like a dog. But that's so not it. Because I was, even though I was unconscious, I was consciously unconscious, if that makes any sense. Yeah. During all of our session, I was aware. I was fully aware.
Yeah. It's that state of mind just before you fall asleep. So your body is physically completely still. Your thinking mind is quiet. We tap into that, the state of mind where we're most open and more receptive to anything in that theta brain. And so you're actually hyper alert to just a few things versus being alert to, the millions of things that happen during our waking, day. So that's it. That's that in between. That's why you remember everything. And you were open to all of these suggestions, and your subconscious is like, give it to me. Yep. What do we want to do to make Melissa feel good? Because that's its job, to protect.
That's its job.
Make it feel good. Yeah.
And I love it. I love it. And the other thing too that we worked on that really helped me was breath work. You taught me like this breathing technique. And particularly in the first half, when we were going over the bridges, I really had to kind of go back to my breath and remember like the breathing exercise and to breathe from my diagram and to really put my breathing in step with my pace. It was very helpful for me, very helpful. Yeah. So thank you.
Yes, of course.
A little bit about your journey. One of the things that we talk to the women on this show about is to make that leap from entrepreneurship, from corporate into entrepreneurship. What was that process like for you? When did you know that it was time for you to do this work full time?
Yes. I wish I had like an incredible story of all this courage that I had overnight and everything. It took some time for me. I had literally had 2 jobs before. So I'm a very loyal, dedicated, make it go to the end, I don't quit, type of person. So it did for me personally. My journey took some time. It took about 6 years, literally, of preparing myself, of knowing I had this dream, knowing I was going to make it happen prior to or around my 50-year mark so that I could make the next stage of my life the most impactful. So I was cautious, but I was very determined. I had already embodied that through my hypnosis, that I knew what I was supposed to do in this life, or as scary as it was for me, being such a conservative person when it comes to, big leaps and risks. And so, and my kids still counting on me, personally, to support them. So it took a lot of determination, a lot of that embodiment. Again, it was already a reality. It was going to happen. It was a matter of felt most prepared. Today is actually a very significant day because this was the day 4 years ago. I said, this is it. On February 1st, this was the day.
Oh my gosh. Happy leap-iversary.
Yes. I celebrate it every year, and I will for the rest of my life. It took courage. It took a lot of mind, heart connection consistently, and feeling, that no matter what I did, I was doing it from a good place. So I knew that the universe would support me and that everything would align, but it's, again, a lot of things are, when you're
Mindset.
in
Yes.
container, it's different than you're out there. And this was a day that I said, yeah, I'm ready. Like, I'm ready. I'm just, even if it means that I'm going to have to cut back on a lot of things or step back or restart in many areas. And I mean, once I did, I never looked back. Never. I got so many people, LinkedIn constantly, hey, we saw that you're no longer, like, let's help you find a job. And I was so appreciative of it, but it never, not once was I tempted. Not once was I, I just didn't look back. And
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. That's one of the things that I share with women who are considering taking the leap, is for you to prepare yourself before you, if you can, right? Because sometimes the situation just is what it is, right? Like, some people end up going into entrepreneurship because they got laid off or because of COVID or whatever. But if you have the opportunity to view your employer as an investor in your dream, shifting your mindset about your employer so that you can prepare yourself to joyfully do the work, even if it's not work that you are passionate about. And then really work on preparing yourself from the inside out for the transition, because entrepreneurship is not for everybody. So you've got to be ready.
Yeah.
So I know you mentioned that for you, it took you like about 6 or 7 years. What were the milestones that you needed to see in order for you to feel safe enough or comfortable enough to take the leap?
I mean, I knew I was going to have hypnosis as the core of what I would offer. And so once I became certified 8 years ago, I started to do that work on the side. And so evenings, early mornings, weekends, I had a center down in Miami. So I wanted to make sure that I was well prepared, throughout those years to when I finally did go solo, that I had enough experience. I had worked out whatever, limiting beliefs I had or kinks, and just get better. So milestone. Once I started to really see people's transformation and that shift and feel those wins, that was like pivotal for me. It was pivotal. Like, that was a big one. Financially, I mean, I knew that I was going to be investing for quite some time. We planned for one, but you also have to plan for what ifs, right? So financially, I just cut back on a lot of things that were not as important for me anymore as it was to put aside what I was going to need to launch myself out there, solo. And so financially was another. I kind of said, this is my number. This is where I will feel safe.
Yeah.
Get to that number, I'm not going to feel safe yet, and there was so many temptations, like, that in that purse and that this, and you know what? Eventually, it just kind of, all those things kind of faded away, and my joy was to see that number grow. And again, that fed into my feelings and my emotion, and would fortify that knowing and that embodiment. I like to say embodiment a lot, because a lot of things is a thought and it's an energy and whatnot, but until you actually physically feel like this is it, and you behave in a way that you've already attained it, it's kind of still. So yeah, once I did, that was another big moment. And I'll be honest, I was pretty upfront with my employer. I was lucky enough to have a great relationship with the owner and work side by side with him. We talked about goals often, and I was always like, I'm out. I'm going to be out. just get ready. Like
Oh, wow. That's amazing. That's such a powerful thing because, one of my clients that I worked with is also in corporate, like you. She was in a leadership role for a well-known company. And she always felt a little bit guilty about doing her business. And the thought of, she just did not have that kind of relationship where she could say, okay, listen, I have an exit strategy in 2 or 3 years. My intention is to start my own business. Some employers are just not open to that. It was a blessing that you had one that you could be that honest and transparent with.
Yeah, I will say it wasn't very easy because he's a very, that's his baby, right? That's his baby. So he did not want any. So it took a lot of courage. It really did to actually verbalize. I knew I was going to do it. I knew I had to do it for my own self because again, it's like, I don't know how to do things, kind of, pardon my expression, but half-assed. Like I have to.
That's it.
And in order for me to be able to be happy about that process, work was a big chunk of my life. And I invested a lot of my time and I shared a lot of time with this person. It felt almost like I would be cheating on someone if I didn't share. And so I eventually just said, listen, let's talk about goals. Let's talk about, I kind of prepped it in my goofy little ways. I was like, this year. And I was like, and look at this year. This year, Colette's going to be gone. So let's prepare. And he's like, what? So it did. It took some being creative and working with that other personality and understanding where that person would come from. But I did it. And it felt, like this whole weight off my shoulder, and it propelled me. I met it because it is another pivotal moment of that. This is it. Like I already even put it out there. Like
that's
tomorrow.
That's powerful. And you said something else that I think is so important too, Collette, is that you had to access courage. And then you had to be creative, right? And I've heard you use the word determined. And these qualities are qualities that we all have. And I find that sometimes those qualities sometimes are not as dominant because of our limiting beliefs, right? That's just kind of holding it under the water. And I believe through practices like, breath work and through meditation, and even for me, through hypnosis, it kind of removes that limiting belief and allow that part to come to the surface so that you can access the courage that you need to have difficult conversations.
Beautifully put. That's exactly it. I'm no different than every other human out there. None of us are. We all have
and we're all on our own journeys.
And we are.
We're all on our own journeys. We are all on our own journeys. And I'm so happy that that our paths has crossed, Collette. The idea of hypnosis came to me years ago. Actually, I can tell you when. I was reading for the second time Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich in 2016. And that was my second time reading the book. And I decided at that time that I was going to put into practice some of the principles that he thought. One of the principles was to write down your goal and put it up where you could see it. So I did that. Another principle was auto-suggestion. And so that's when I started playing with affirmations. That's when I started playing with the idea of even recording my own affirmations and letting it play while I'm sleeping. And so I always thought that hypnosis was something that I was going to try. And I did try it at one point, but it just didn't work out very well. And when I found you, it was correct. And the minute I met you, our energies clicked. And I was like, yes, this woman is going to help me get over what's keeping me from meeting this goal. And we had sessions almost like every week for like 2 or 3 months, right?
Yep. Yeah. Because it's not magic. I like to say
it's work. But I met you and then we did the session And you sent me the recording of the session, and I was able to play it while I'm working. And I'm telling you that literally that session that we did, I think we did maybe 2 or 3 sessions where I had the feeling of them putting the thing over my, the metal on. That's what sustained me. And if you see the video, the reel that we posted from that thing, you actually see the guy putting the metal over my head.
I saw it. Yeah.
Wow. So Collette, tell me, I'm going to put your contact information up. So if people want to work with you, how do they do that?
Yes. So I always invite people to have a free consultation. I'm in Fort Lauderdale area, kind of near the downtown area. So you're welcome to come here. I have my office, and next door I have a little studio where I can support in those multi-dimensional levels: mind, body, energy, and an emotional body. So a free consultation, you can also do it via Zoom. So in order for us to share our goals and really see if we're a good fit for each other, and if we're not, I'm the first person to say, hey, this might be more in line with what you need. I also do breath work sessions. They're magical. They're just magical. So if you want to kind of get a feel for me, for my space, for the energy, and also it's beautiful because you can chat with other people that have gone through the program. And so that you can kind of get that real feedback from people that have already, kind of worked on different things with me. So I invite, that's every Thursdays at 6:45, so tomorrow night. And I do monthly full moon events. So a lot of times I'll do like a cacao ceremony, or this full moon on Saturday, I'm doing a Reiki circle with another practitioner. We're going to do a sound bath. We're going to do the breath work, a deep hypnotic meditation on self-love, and the Reiki energy work. So I'm always doing those full moons. I'm always doing a little something to gather our tribe. And yeah, I think that's the easiest way. My website has my link to my calendar. You can just plug yourself in there. We chat like this, get to know each other. And if you want to come and do a class or see me in person, and then, see if we embark on a journey together.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you for being such an important part of this milestone dream for me, Collette.
Such an awesome.
Yeah, so I will be in touch. I'm sure there'll be much more opportunities for us to work on, because I have a whole bunch of goals.
Yes. I love it.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us for this episode of the show, Collette.
No, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Me. Much love and
My pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you guys so much for joining us for the Dunn Wisdom Morning Show for this episode. I am so grateful that you have been on this journey with me to the Miami Marathon. And I want to invite you to join me on another journey. I have created what I hope will be something that will, well, not what I hope, what I know is something that will add a lot of value for you women who either are currently in corporate and you're thinking about leaping into entrepreneurship, or perhaps you already have a business and you are looking to take that business to the next step. I have created a 6-figure women in business summit. And if you go there, 6figurewomeninbusiness.com, you'll find out all about it. It's scheduled for March 24th and 25th, I believe, or 23rd and 25th. But anyways, towards the end of March, and we will be covering mindset, marketing, and money. As an entrepreneur, you are your brand. As an entrepreneur, your mindset is everything, right? Because success comes from the inside out. So join me in March for the 6-Figure Women in Business Summit. Go to 6figurewomeninbusiness.com to learn more. And join me here next week, Wednesday at 9 a.m. when I will be sharing with you more lessons from running, perhaps, or some tips that will help you to be successful in life and in business. Thanks for joining me, and I will see you again next Wednesday at 9 a.m. Remember, Be kind and loving to yourself today. You absolutely deserve it. Be well, ladies.